thinking about getting out of New York State because of the cold, dreary winters, or maybe because of the high tax situation? My name is Cindy McMahon, and I'm a real estate agent with Hunt Real Estate, ERA, in North Greenbush, New York, and I can help you do just that. We're going to talk about that right now while I'm in the middle of my first mate duties in the Florida Keys, Cudjoe Key to be exact. Stay tuned. So if you like fishing or boating, the Florida Keys could be for you. My husband and I discovered the Florida Keys maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and actually Key West was where we visited first, and we fell in love with that area. I think Key West is known as kind of a party town, and that is absolutely not what we like to do there. The architecture is amazing in Key West, and you know, it's a place where there's a lot of culture, a lot of museums, a lot of history, and many famous people have lived there over the years because they love the warm weather, the cool breezes, the fishing, and you know, it's a great place to write. It's a great place to do watercolors, to make art, to be an author, do all of those kinds of things. And because of that, there's a lot of culture and history and things to look at there. There's fantastic architecture. That's my favorite thing to do, is to walk around and see the houses with the gingerbread trim and the bright colors and just so many characters. Great place for people watching. On the other hand, if you like fishing, the Florida Keys could also be a great place for you. We started staying a little bit north of Key West because it's a little bit more affordable and you get to spread out. You get a bigger place to stay in. One of the things to know if you're thinking about visiting the Keys is that typically you have to stay for 28 days or more unless the person has a transient license where they can rent by the day or the week, and sometimes that's more prevalent in Key West. It's not as prevalent up the Keys. So we usually stay about 20 or 30 miles north of Key West. We're staying this year in Cudjoe Key, and we brought our boat down. We have a little canal front house that we're renting, and I would highly recommend that if you're thinking about moving here. Try, you know, renting it out and checking things out first. It can be expensive to buy here. However, you are getting oceanfront property. You also have to be very tolerant of the hurricanes and the high insurance costs, but the taxes are less. There was a house that we saw that was on the market, I think, for $1 million, and the taxes were, actually I think it was $1.5 million in Key West proper, and the taxes were less than what we pay on our house in upstate New York. So, you know, there's trade-offs, obviously, and you really have to like the boating and the lifestyle. The Florida Keys is the only place in the continental U.S. that does not frost. There is never a freeze here, knock on wood, and that's one of the reasons why we also started coming here. I can only usually get away from work in February and or earlier, and a lot of times in Orlando or other areas, it's not warm enough for me anyway. I like it to be in the 70s or plus, and it's always sunny here. So lots of info about Key West. I would highly suggest you do some research on it, and the lower Keys as well, and I'm happy to answer any questions about that. Here's some view of the water. I don't know if you're going to be able to see how clear it is. We're going through kind of this little canal that's cut out in between one of the keys. The water is very shallow in the Keys, especially on the Gulf side. They call that the back country, but some of the best fishing is back there. My little dog, she's not that little actually, that's Poppy. She loves to fish, so she loves to always be on the front of the boat checking out the fish, and occasionally she will jump in after one if it looks tasty enough. So whenever we have a place that we come back to more than once because we love it so much, I start thinking seriously about real estate investment. Probably because that's what I do for a living, and I don't want to spend crazy rent money on a vacation rental. So of course, when we've been here over the last year or two, I have been researching the real estate market. Hurricane Irma did a lot of devastation in this area of the lower Keys, and surprisingly, prices have not gone down because of that. So you really are not going to find a bargain here, and if you are going to find a bargain, it's going to be really damaged, really moldy, and not in great shape. You can buy mobile homes, and you know, I don't necessarily think that that's a bad investment if you're buying a mobile home on its own lot, because the lot is probably never going to disappear in your lifetime. So you'd always be able to replace the mobile home if that got damaged in the hurricane. But like I said, you do have to have that be a determining factor for you in terms of what you're thinking about investing in. Rental rates down here for like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath home on a canal are around $5,000 a month during the high season, which would be usually January, February, March, April. You're going to get that much. And then there's a really great fishing season in the summer, and a lot of the people that live in Miami or Homestead area come down here and rent, and you can get really good rents during that time as well. So if you figure that the average sales price down here, which what I'm discovering is around $500,000, if you buy a rental property, something that you're willing to rent out, you can probably cover a good chunk of your mortgage with rentals if you're willing to rent it out during the high season and not use it yourself. So it's something to think about. Buying a house that's elevated is definitely going to be more affordable for you insurance-wise than a house that's sitting on the ground, because of the storm surge that happens during hurricanes. And you really need to make sure that you have a good roof and the hurricane windows and all of that kind of stuff that will lower your insurance rates. So, you know, I'm taking you by some pretty real estate on this canal right now, and it definitely does seem to vary in terms of the pricing, and I think doing a lot of research is important. So that is the news from Cudjoe Key, about 21 miles north of Key West, and I'm heading home tomorrow. I'll see you all on the flip side. Take care. Hey everybody, it's Cindy McMahon with the Hunt Real Estate ERA. Blah, blah, blah.